What if destiny is not something written for you, but something you slowly become? What if even a powerful figure like Lord Shiva did not begin with a fixed form or identity? And what if the confusion you feel about your own life is not a problem, but the beginning of something meaningful? Picture a silent universe. No names, no roles, no clear direction, just stillness. In many Hindu traditions, Shiva is described in a very unusual way compared to other deities. Some texts, like the Shiva Purana and ideas found in the Vedas, describe him as eternal and beyond form. This does not mean a physical body without shape. It is a symbolic way of saying that existence itself can begin without clear identity. This idea may sound distant, but it connects deeply with real life. Many people reach a point where they feel unsure about who they are or where they are going. Students, workers, even successful people often face this quiet confusion. And here is an honest point. Different traditions explain Shiva in different ways, so there is no single version of this story. But almost all agree on one thing. His form represents deeper qualities, not just appearance. As this story unfolds, you will see how awareness, change, balance, and even difficult moments play a role in shaping identity. This is not just about mythology. It reflects how real people grow, struggle, and slowly understand themselves. If you stay until the end, you may begin to see your own life from a new angle, not as something fixed, but as something you are actively shaping. And if you find value in stories like this that help you think deeper and see life more clearly, consider liking the video and subscribing for more content that explores meaning in a simple and honest way. Close your eyes again and return to that silent space. No shapes, no names, no roles waiting to be played. In many traditions, this is how the story connected to Lord Shiva is often understood at the very beginning, not as a person standing somewhere, but as a kind of formless presence. Texts like the Vedas and later works such as the Shiva Purana describe this idea in different ways, and it is important to be clear here. These are not scientific descriptions of a physical event. They are symbolic ways of expressing a deep idea that before identity, there is pure possibility, that before form, there is something that simply exists. This may sound distant at first, but think about a real moment in life. A student finishes school and suddenly faces a big question. What next? There is no clear answer, no fixed role. It can feel uncomfortable, even scary. Many people think this confusion means they are falling behind. But this ancient idea suggests something different. It shows a stage where nothing is defined yet. And that is not failure. It is openness. It is space where many paths are still possible. In simple terms, this early formless state represents potential. Not emptiness, but fullness without direction. Modern psychology also recognizes this kind of phase. Researchers often describe identity as something that develops over time, not something fixed at birth. You can check this through basic developmental psychology sources, where identity formation is seen as a gradual process, especially during youth and early adulthood. So when the story speaks about a formless beginning, it is not asking you to imagine a strange supernatural scene. It is inviting you to see your own life differently. That uncertain phase you may have experienced, or may be experiencing now, is not a mistake. It is a beginning. It quietly challenges the idea that destiny is already written. Instead, it shows that before anything becomes clear, there is always a moment of silence, a moment where everything is still possible, and that moment matters more than we often realize. From that silent beginning, something slowly becomes visible, not in a sudden flash, not as a dramatic moment, but as a quiet shift. In many traditional descriptions, Lord Shiva is shown with simple but powerful features: an ash-covered body, calm eyes, and deep stillness. It is important to understand this clearly. These are symbolic descriptions found in texts like the Shiva Purana, not historical records of a physical transformation. Each detail is meant to express an idea, not just an image. Take the ash, for example. Ash is what remains after something has fully burned. In this context, it represents the idea that all material things, wealth, status, even the body, do not last forever. This is not meant to create fear. It is meant to create clarity. When you understand that things are temporary, you stop depending on them for your identity. Then there is the stillness. Shiva is often shown sitting in deep calm, unaffected by noise or distraction. This is not just about sitting quietly. It represents control over the mind, the ability to stay steady even when life becomes uncertain. Now think about how people build identity today. Many depend on external things: a job title, social media image, or approval from others. At first, it feels strong. But when those things change or disappear, the person feels lost. This is a real and common struggle. You can observe it in everyday life. Someone who loses a job may feel like they have lost themselves, not just their work. This part of the story suggests a different path. It shows that identity built from inner awareness is more stable than identity built from outside conditions. This idea also connects with modern psychology. Basic concepts of self-awareness and emotional stability are widely discussed in mental health studies, and you can find simple explanations through sources like introductory psychology texts or organizations such as the American Psychological Association. So this first form is not just about appearance, it is about what shapes a person from within. It gently challenges another belief, that destiny comes from external success. Instead, it shows that what you understand about yourself plays a major role in shaping who you become. There is a moment in the story where calm turns into fire. Not a fire that destroys everything in anger, but a force that clears what no longer helps growth. This is where Lord Shiva is often called the Destroyer. At first, this title can feel uncomfortable. It sounds like something negative, something to fear. But in many Hindu philosophical ideas, destruction does not mean harming life. It means removing what is false, what is limiting, and what is no longer needed. This idea appears across different texts and traditions, though the exact interpretation can vary. So, it is fair to say this meaning is widely accepted, but not explained in only one fixed way. Think about something simple. A seed cannot grow into a plant unless its outer shell breaks. That breaking is not a failure, it is part of growth. In the same way, many moments in life feel like loss, but later turn out to be change. Imagine a person who worked for years in a job that did not truly fit them. One day, they lose it. In that moment, it feels like everything has collapsed. There is fear, doubt, and confusion. But slowly, they begin to explore new options. They learn new skills. They discover a path that matches them better. Looking back, that loss was not the end. It was the start of something more aligned. This connects closely with how people experience change. Many fear it because it feels like losing control. But research in basic psychology shows that people often grow after difficult events, a concept sometimes called post-traumatic growth. You can find simple explanations of this in mental health resources or psychology textbooks. This does not mean all pain is good. It means that change, even when hard, can lead to new understanding. So when the story speaks of destruction, it is not about chaos, it is about clearing space. It quietly challenges the idea that destiny must follow a smooth, unbroken path. Instead, it shows that breaks, endings, and unexpected turns can all shape the direction of life. Sometimes, what feels like everything falling apart is actually the moment where something new is being made, even if you cannot see it yet. Now, the story becomes quieter again, not empty like the beginning, but calm in a different way. In many traditions, Lord Shiva is described as sitting in deep meditation, often called the Adi Yogi or the first yogi. This idea appears in yogic traditions and later texts, though details vary across sources. What remains consistent is the image of stillness, not sleep, not escape, but a deep awareness of the mind itself. This matters because most of us live in constant noise. Thoughts move quickly, worries about the future, regrets about the past, messages, deadlines, pressure. It feels like the mind is always busy. In this state, decisions are often rushed or unclear. People react instead of choosing, and over time, these small reactions shape life in ways they never planned. Meditation, in its simplest form, is about noticing this. It is not about becoming perfect or empty. It is about seeing what is happening inside without being pulled by it. Even simple breathing awareness, just focusing on the breath for a few minutes, can begin to slow things down. This is not only a spiritual idea, it is also studied in modern science. Organizations like the American Psychological Association explain how mindfulness practices can reduce stress, improve focus, and support emotional balance. These effects are not instant or magical, but they are real and measurable. Now connect this back to the story. Shiva's stillness is not just a pose for imagination. It represents control, clarity, and awareness. It shows a state where the mind is not controlling the person, but the person understands the mind. This changes everything. When thoughts become clearer, choices become more careful. When choices improve, direction begins to change. This quietly challenges another common belief, that destiny is shaped only by outside events. Instead, it suggests that inner clarity plays a major role. Not everything is under personal control, and it is honest to accept that. But how a person responds, how they think, and how they decide in quiet moments, these things slowly shape the path ahead. In that sense, stillness is not doing nothing. It is where better direction begins. After stillness comes movement, not chaos, but balance. In many traditions, Lord Shiva is not shown alone. He is connected with Shakti. This idea appears in texts like the Devi Bhagavata Purana and other Hindu philosophical works, though interpretations can differ across regions and traditions. Shiva represents awareness and stillness, while Shakti represents energy and action. Together, they form balance. This balance is important because life is never only one thing. If there is only action without reflection, a person becomes exhausted. They keep working, but feel empty inside. If there is only thinking without action, life becomes stuck, full of ideas, but no direction. Many people experience this today without realizing it. They either feel overworked or completely unmotivated. Both come from imbalance. Think about daily life. A student studying for long hours without rest may lose focus. On the other hand, someone who only plans and never starts may feel frustrated later. This is not about blaming anyone. It is about understanding how life works in real situations. Even modern studies in education and psychology show that rest and focused action together improve learning and performance more than non-stop effort alone. You can find similar ideas in basic time management and mental health research. The symbolic connection between Shiva and Shakti suggests something simple but powerful. Stillness and action are not enemies. They support each other. One gives direction, the other gives energy. When they are out of balance, life feels confusing. When they work together, things become clearer. This idea also challenges a common belief about destiny, that success comes only from constant effort or only from waiting for the right moment. Instead, it shows that timing, balance, and awareness all matter together. Action without clarity can lead in the wrong direction. Awareness without action keeps everything only in thought. So this part of the story is not about mythology alone. It is a reflection of real human life. It gently suggests that destiny is not built by extreme behavior, but by balance between thinking and doing, between silence and movement. Detachment is where the story becomes very personal. In many descriptions of Lord Shiva, he is shown living with very simple needs, often in mountains, away from luxury or heavy possessions. This idea appears in traditional texts and stories, though it is important to understand it as symbolic, not a historical lifestyle record. It represents the idea of living without being controlled by material things. Detachment does not mean leaving everything behind or rejecting life. It means not letting things control your mind. In real life, many people make choices based on fear. Fear of losing money, fear of judgment, fear of failure. These fears slowly shape decisions without people even noticing it. For example, someone may stay in a job they do not like only because they are afraid of uncertainty. Another person may avoid trying something new because they worry about what others will say. These are common human experiences, not mistakes. Modern psychology also supports this idea in simple ways. Studies on decision-making show that fear-based choices often reduce long-term satisfaction, even if they feel safe in the short term. You can find this in basic behavioral psychology research, especially in discussions about risk and avoidance behavior. This does not mean fear is bad. It means fear should not be the only guide. The symbolic life of Shiva suggests something different. When a person is not deeply attached to material pressure or social expectations, their choices become clearer. They can think more honestly about what they truly want. This does not guarantee an easy life, but it can lead to a more genuine one. This also connects to destiny in a simple way. If every decision is controlled by fear, then life becomes shaped by limitation. But if decisions come from awareness instead of pressure, then the path becomes more open. It is honest to say that not everything is fully under human control, but the way a person responds still plays a major role. So detachment here is not about losing connection with life. It is about gaining freedom inside life. It quietly challenges the idea that destiny is only shaped by external success or failure. Instead, it suggests that inner freedom can change how a person walks through their own path. The story slowly reaches its final turning point, where all earlier ideas come together into one clear understanding. In many traditional interpretations of Lord Shiva, there is no single fixed version of his form or story. Some texts describe him as eternal and formless, while others describe symbolic forms with deep meaning. This difference is important because it shows that the idea of Shiva is not meant to be locked into one story. It changes across time, region, and tradition. This is clearly seen in sources like the Shiva Purana and other Hindu philosophical texts, where multiple perspectives exist side by side. When we step back and look at everything together, a pattern appears. The formless beginning, the symbolic appearance, the idea of destruction as change, meditation as awareness, balance with energy, and detachment from fear-driven life. All these are not separate ideas. They are parts of one continuous process, a process of becoming. Now think about real life again. A person does not become who they are in one moment. Childhood, confusion, learning, failure, growth, success, loss. Each stage adds something. Sometimes progress feels slow. Sometimes it feels like going backward. But over time, these experiences shape identity in ways that cannot be planned perfectly. Modern psychology supports this idea in a simple way. Identity is seen as something that develops over time through experience, reflection, and choice. It is not fixed at the start. You can find this explained in basic developmental psychology studies and educational psychology resources. This does not remove the idea of destiny, but it changes how we understand it. Instead of something fully written in advance, it becomes something influenced by actions, awareness, and responses. So the story, connected to Shiva, is not telling us that life is already decided. It is showing a symbolic journey of transformation, from undefined potential to awareness, to balance, to freedom from fear, and finally, to self-understanding. Each stage reflects something human, and this is where the deeper message sits. You are not a finished story. You are still forming. Your choices matter, but so does your understanding of yourself. Even uncertainty has a place in growth. The final idea is simple but powerful. Destiny may not be a fixed path waiting ahead. It may be a process unfolding step by step, shaped by how you live, think, and respond in each moment. As this journey comes to an end, the story of Lord Shiva slowly brings us back to one simple idea. Not a fixed image, not a single moment in time, but a process of change. Across different Hindu traditions and texts, like the Shiva Purana, Shiva is described in many ways, sometimes as formless, sometimes in symbolic form, and sometimes as a balance of awareness and energy. These are not scientific facts about a physical being. They are symbolic teachings that point toward deeper ideas about life and the mind. When we connect all the parts of this story, something clear begins to appear. The formless state reminds us of pure potential. The first form teaches us about inner awareness. The idea of destruction shows that change is part of growth, not something to fear. Meditation shows the power of a calm mind. Balance with energy shows that life needs both action and reflection. Detachment shows freedom from fear and pressure. And finally, the idea that no single version exists reminds us that identity itself is not fixed. This is where the deeper reflection comes in. In real life, people often try to find a final answer about who they are or what their destiny is. But life does not always give one clear answer. Psychology also supports this in simple ways. Studies in human development show that identity grows over time through experience, learning, and change. You can explore this through basic educational psychology resources or trusted learning platforms like academic textbooks or health organizations that study behavior and growth. So instead of asking, "What is already decided for me?" a different question may feel more meaningful. How am I changing, and what am I learning from it? This story does not ask you to believe blindly. It simply offers a mirror, a way to look at your own life with a little more calm and understanding. And maybe the most important idea is this: you are not a finished story. You are still unfolding, step by step, moment by moment, just like the ideas reflected in this journey.